In terms of the actual criteria, so there's a number of criteria that central contracts are based on. One is based around various fitness criteria, which are set during the course of the year, which includes yo-yo testing and various other testing mechanisms that the strength and conditioning coach uses in order to check on the fitness levels of the players and make sure they're maintaining what they should do. The other clearly is around performance, and obviously it's a performance business, cricket is, so they look at performances over the course of the year. And thirdly, the other area is what sort of formats of cricket do we have over the next 12 months? So how important will this member be in terms of being considered for selection over the next 12 months? So these are the three key areas that are looked upon by the selection panel. We're very conscious as the Pakistan Cricket Board that our players are valued and they feel valued, and we can start to close the gap with some of the other countries where some of the central contract values are a lot higher than our players. We've come a long way in the last 2 years in terms of central contracts for players. We want to keep closing that gap over a period of time, hence why a 25% increase was seen this year in the Cat A, Cat B, and Cat C categories in terms of the players, and also 15% increase for the emerging players. So it's very important that there's an incentive for those guys as well. It was also really important for us that we equalized match payments in terms of match fees. When you walk across the line and you're representing your country, all 11 players are doing exactly the same job at the same time under the same pressures. So it's very, very important that we recognize that and provided an equalization across all the match fees. So there's some rationale behind our thinking in both increasing the retainership, but also equalizing the match fees for all players. 9 players, unfortunately, haven't made the retainership through the central contracts for 21-22. But on the flip side, we've seen 8 new players emerge who have now gained central contracts through the various criteria that was set out around the selection of central contracted players. It's never an easy time when players aren't retained, but it's certainly not the end of the road for them. So some players haven't been granted central contracts. I'm sure they'll feel they should have been given a central contract, but the door certainly isn't closed. All those players remain available for selection, and it's very, very important that they're available to play for their countries. And I'm sure they'll come back stronger and they'll come back better. This is why it's really important that some communication was very, very clear to those individuals, those 9 players who weren't retained on a central contract. So the chief selector took it upon himself to have a conversation with each and every one of those to try and help them understand a little bit about why they weren't retained this year, and also to keep their motivation levels up, to speak to them a little bit about what they need to do in order to be considered for selection moving forward. Because you don't have a central contract certainly does not mean that you are not available for selection. And that's really, really important. We've seen the emergence also very positively of the likes of Mohammad Hasnain and Haris Rauf moving from an emerging category to a Cat C. And we've also seen the likes of Shah Nawaz Dani break through into the emerging category as well. So the emerging categories are always a really exciting time for us because they are the next cab off the rank. And it's always really important that we keep encouraging the young performers that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You may not make a full category at this stage, but there's an opportunity for you to come through into an emerging contract and into an emerging category. So that's really, really important. Through the equalization of the match fees, there has been increases across the previous, say, for example, Cat C. So there's a 50% increase in ODI match fees for Cat C and Cat B players to get them to an equalization level of a Cat A player, but also a 67% increase in T20 match fees, which is really, really important. So whilst we've equalized all the match fees, what it has meant is that players who were in Cat B and Cat C will now be earning the same level of match fees as those in Cat A, which we believe is really, really important to ensure there's equity across the whole of the central contract system. Look, the first thing that we have obviously done is provide domestic contracts. Up to 30 contracts are provided at domestic level. So we're already starting that professionalism and giving players hope that they can earn a living, but if they perform, then they can work their way into the main central national contract system. And I think it's really, really important. I think by increasing the match fees, increasing the retainership levels, what we are saying to players is that, playing for your country, being selected within a central contract system is the pinnacle, and that's something that you should aim for. We give them the platform through domestic cricket. The next level is to perform and get the opportunity to earn a central contract. We've seen this year with 8 new faces that, you know, the doors are open. If you're performing and you are doing well in domestic cricket and you are performing as a non-centrally contracted player for the national team, you will get recognized. And I think it's a very, very important message as we're talking and dealing with meritocracy, dealing on performances only, that everybody feels they've got a fair opportunity to represent their country, but also to earn the value and earn the fees that they believe they should be earning.